Did you just make a Monopoly reference?
Yes, I did. Welcome to the Dice Odyssey. I'm Maple Syrup, and this is my buddy Flapjack.
You suck at intros, man. I'm Kas. And you're... Oh my gosh, he's Bryan, okay? He's forgetting who he is. Apparently, in the wastes of a post-apocalyptic world, you start to lose your mind and your memory. But anyway...
Brings out the Flapjack in you.
So goofy. Anyway, we want to talk to you about Wasteland Express Delivery Service. Now, this game is by Pandasaurus Games. Let me go through the list of designers because there's a few. You got Matt Riddle, Ben Pinchback. You got Jonathan Gilmore. You know him from Dinosaur Island, and he's designed Dead of Winter. I said it on Dinosaur Island. This guy is on a hot streak, and it is hot, hot, hot right now with this game. It's taking place in a post-apocalyptic world, and you're actually a pickup and delivery service with a twist. Got some combat in this game. You're trying to, do all sorts of different kinds of priority contracts. Very much a Mad Max vibe, wouldn't you say?
Definitely Mad Max vibe. This is just like Road Warrior gone wild.
This game's for 2 to 5 players. It's supposed to be for an hour and a half to 2 hours, or even more. But on the box, it's an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's for ages 13 and up. And I would agree that it's definitely for ages 13 and up. We're going to get this thing over to the table, show you how it's played. But yeah, get ready to rock in the wasteland. And we'll come back with our final thoughts. Your ultimate goal, 9 times out of 10, is to actually complete these 3 contracts, okay? These priority contracts here. All right, so first person to complete 3 of them wins the game, generally, okay? And then as you go and you're delivering all these different kind of cargo, weapons and food and water and things like that, you're also going to be able to gain other contracts, like minor contracts usually, throughout the course of the game. It'll allow you to actually upgrade your rig. It'll allow you to gain allies and so on and so forth. It adds a cool little narrative to the game as you go, just different stories and such. The first thing you're going to get is a player board, okay? And you're going to get a cargo hold for weaponry, or one that'll hold general storage, which is food or water, okay? And they can also both hold artifacts. That's going to be these microchips here. Okay, and you start out with 10 money, and just to give you an idea, it's cool because it's all scrap metal and different things that you might find in the waste, because money doesn't mean anything in a post-apocalyptic world, right? You start with 5 of these gears. These are your action tokens, basically. You stick 5 of them in the available slot. These are going to be used to maneuver around on your dashboard here for different actions that you're going to take. And also, each one of the characters, player boards, it gives you a special ability that your person has. For example, I got Gat here. He starts with a trailer. But you can choose, if you don't want Gat, from several different ones. For example, the Bandit, he actually can move 4 spaces on his first movement. Now, if you went to the next one, all the other ones can only move 3 on their first movement, okay? So that, again, the Bandit has a cool power. Big John here. You've got Tweak. And for example, he starts with a rad shield and a missile. All right, that's pretty sweet. That means if he goes through radiation areas, he's more protected. You got Zero. She starts with armor and a machine gun, so obviously well armored, and I like the look of her vehicle. That's awesome. And then you got the Fallen. Got a school bus there, modded up, upgraded school bus. Start with armor, sleeper cab, and a random ally. That's awesome. The sleeper cabs are specifically for getting extra allies in the game. You're going to gain 4 standees, okay? Now, these standees are specifically for setting them down on a contract card. And then you got this X one here, which I'll show you what that's for later on. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take 10 of these icon tokens, and these are basically showing progress on different contracts and things like that might require. Now, you're also going to choose the truck that you get with your specific character, okay? And actually, this is going to go into the depot area in the middle of the board. Now, also in the setup, you're going to each draw 1 card from each of these 3 faction stacks. These are basically jobs that you can take to help you along the way, and these are usually for, you know, upgrading and helping you along the way to finally get those priority contracts taken care of. You're going to take 1 of each, and then you're going to choose 1 and discard the other 2. Whenever you go into a spot with an M like this, you're going to be able to go into the mod shop. Now, there's also other places that that have different spots. Some things that are in this mod shop box don't necessarily come from the mod shop location. Okay, that's going to be these temporary kind of fixes here, the extra trailers for cargo hauling, because there's different places on the map where you're able to pick up different things, but a lot of the things you're going to pick up to upgrade your rig is going to be from the mod shop. Just to give you an example, for example, you got a general storage right here, and it also has a cost on each side, which is really nice. You got one that can store 1 food or water. You got a storage that can store 1 weapon. You've got a machine gun, which is awesome. It costs a lot, but it's a +1 hit in combat automatically. That's really nice. You've got an actual gunner, which gives you +1 extra dice in combat. So if you're normally rolling 2, you can roll 3 or as many as you have of this. You've got the turbo, gives you +1 space to each movement action. You've got the shields, which go into that main shield spot in the top of the truck rig. You've got a sleeper cab. Remember what I said, something about carrying allies? You can do that there. You've got the rad shield, which basically says what it does, pass all rad checks. You got the broker, which allows you to get an extra $2 on delivery, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's several things in here that you can get, some things that pertain to missions and such. Now, if you look at your actual rig, once you go to the mod shop, you'll be able to place different kinds of modules here. You can kind of place them wherever you like. Okay, and the only couple things you can't are going to be these kinds of shields. On the right is the rad shield, on the left is the standard shield, which protects from gunfire and things like that. So you only have 1 spot for it. So if you have that get damaged and destroyed, it's out of that spot. But either way, for example, the rad shield is going to allow you to go through irradiated areas and such, so on and so forth, without taking any damage. If you currently have a shield in place, a standard shield, and if you're taking gunfire and things like that from Raider trucks, then what you're going to do is you're going to put damage tokens down in different areas. So your shield can take actually 2 damage before it's destroyed. So even if it takes that 1, you've still got 1 more hit before that goes away. Okay, and then basically after that, you're going to be able to pick where you want to put damage. If you want to put a damage icon on your machine gun, if that's fine, you can do that, but that machine gun is no longer any use to you until you repair your truck. And the way you repair your truck is you actually go back to the depot and then you pay us whatever it tells you to pay on there. I think it's $3, and you get a fully repaired truck. So there are ways to fix things, but once you run out of spaces to put damage icons, and you're just going to go ahead and put them on the other icons there, or the other spaces, but you won't be able to put anything else in there until it's all repaired. So like I say, if you get damaged, even on, for example, you're carrying water right now in your general storage, if you get damaged with that, you lose this. The movement in this game is very interesting. This basically is tracking your momentum like I mentioned before, but in this case, you start 3, 4, or 5, right? Unless you have like a turbo or something. And what you're going to do is you're going to go, okay, I want to move 3 spaces. So what you're going to do now is you see the lines here and the different breaks between the tiles. What you're going to basically do is go, okay, I can go from here. I can go here if I want to. That'd be 1 space. Or I can go over here. That's 1 space. Just pick a direction. So if I go over here, 1, then I count 2, 3, or 2, 3. Or I could go even into a depot in different places, right? Or an outpost. But basically, if I started here, I can go 1, 2, 3, and that's basically how movement works, okay? Now, when it comes to the momentum aspect, this is where it gets interesting. You put up another one. Let's say it's your turn again. Okay, you just did an action. Everybody else is taking their turn. It's your turn again. You move to 4, and now you're going to count out 4 spaces. Okay, we're going to go back now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's how that works. Now, again, all you're really tracking is momentum. I mean, you can go all the way up to 5 and move 5 spaces if you want. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you engage in combat with a Raider truck, okay, you actually move one of these up here, and then you're going to start fighting that raider truck. Now, here's what happens. These other items here, these other, your other momentum tokens, basically at this point, are going to be moved down into the used pass area because you've basically stopped to start a fight with a raider truck, or you were ambushed or whatever it was. All right. Now, if you beat that raider truck, you move it over here to pillage, and that works for either raider trucks or if you go to pillage enclaves. And again, we'll talk about that here in just a moment. But remember, if you use one of those, your momentum is lost and it goes into the used pass. You'd have to basically restart your momentum for that round or the next, depending on how many action tokens you have left. Now, the other aspect that you can do, let's say that you had 5 momentum and you happen to stop in an outpost, whether you were going to, buy, sell, activate outpost actions or what have you, depending on mission. Well, now what you'll do is, let's say you wanted to move 5 for that turn to get to the next outpost. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I don't have to go the whole amount. I just stop. My momentum stops. And now I take one of those tokens. It didn't have to be on 5. It could have been on 4 or 3. And then you now go to purchase or deliver or outpost. It's cool because you see these arrows, they're showing you that you're getting 2 actions on one action. Now, the only one that you can't do that on is bonus. You can't drag from over here to bonus directly. You would have to go straight from your available to the bonus. And that's specifically if like missions call for it and different things. One other aspect of movement is going to be these irradiated tiles here. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to move your truck if you want to go through there. And it's one whole tile, so it's considered one spot. So if you move from this tile over to here, it's just one, and then you can go on, keep on going. But before you go, you've got to roll this red die, and if you land on it, you take a damage. Okay. Number 1, anytime that you see an icon with that, it's basically saying you can purchase water, for example, for $3 a pop. And you can purchase pretty much as many of them as you have cargo space for in your truck. Okay. You would use that purchase action that we showed you on the actual player board, and you'd have your truck, you'd be driving along and you stop there, and then now you can actually purchase it as long as you have the money to do so. Now, also, if you look right here on the left-hand side, there's also something there that is considered an outpost, okay? And what you'll be able to do is take outpost actions, and whatever is shown on that left-hand side, it doesn't matter what it is, okay, on the board. It could be a mod shop. It could be temporary modifications. It could be, purchasing artifact. Matter of fact, we've got one right here. Purchasing artifacts, for example. If you look, this one says that you pay $7 for an artifact. Then you go ahead and activate it, and you can do whatever it says. And so now, since I'm going to go ahead and purchase some water, that will fit in this icon that I had in my truck. Remember, it fits basically right on top, showing that you're carrying it, and that's basically how cargo is bought. If you look at one of these icons here, okay, it's going to show a demand for something. Typically, they have stripes on them like this. Now, again, that can be weapons, food, anything, but this happens to be water, okay? They're saying that basically this outpost here is demanding, or they just have a desire or a need for water right now, okay? Well, guess what? We just got some water, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do our movement action, and we're going to go from here, boom, 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 boom. As you notice how I'm doing that movement action right now, 1, 2, 3. You count the spaces that are actually on there. You can't go diagonally, but you basically have to cross the lines over into the next area that you want to go. We're going to go there, and we're going to actually deliver some water now, okay? When you first set up the game, you're also going to put all of your different things that represent your water, your weapons, and your food, and you're going to set them respectively on 2, 3, and 4. Food goes on 2, water goes on 3, weaponry goes on 4. And you've got this weaponry icon, all right, and this is a demand token, okay? And however many that you've got of this type on the board is how many spaces you're going to show the demand for. So, for example, the weaponry starts on 4. There's at least 5 of these icons out there on the board. And so that's showing that this is going to be moving up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's worth $9 a pop when you deliver these, okay? So right now, for example, water is going to be worth 10 bucks a pop. Well, I just drove my truck over here and they want water. So if I had 2 of these cases of water with me, I'd be making 20 bucks because I'm selling them for $10 a pop. So once you've actually fulfilled demand, this is where you're going to pull that demand marker off the table, okay? And now what you're going to do is you're going to take that, place it over here to the side. Now, because the demand has gone down and you have filled that water demand, at least in one respect, on the market, this is going to move from 10 to 9, right? It's gone a little bit down in value because you've actually completed a demand, and so that just drives the price down a little bit, right? But now you're going to put out a new token, which is your food token, in that same spot. Okay, and again, it could be any token, just random draw here. And what you're going to do is now you're going to take that food token that was on 5 and you're going to move that up to 6, okay? Because now the demand has gone up, so the price is a little bit higher. And now where you actually delivered to, which is the Serenity area, you're going to place your do not come back or do not go symbol, the one with the X on it, in that spot, showing that you cannot deliver there again until you have dealt with basically another outpost, okay? You have to deliver somewhere else, and then you're going to move that X marker to that next place that you work with. Once you get to a place where you're actually able to purchase the artifacts, you saw that outpost a minute ago, what you're going to do is you can purchase them. So to start with, you're going to purchase one for $7, and after that, the price typically starts going up, okay? So let's say you purchase that and you put that into your trucking area. And don't forget, weapons cargo areas and general cargo areas can hold these, okay? So you would put that in your cargo area. And once you have delivered it or gotten rid of it somehow, you then go ahead and stack it on the top of here. And as you keep going, the price will continue to keep going up no matter who's buying, okay? Now, when you've actually gone ahead and picked up what you wanted and bought what you wanted from the place with the water, for example, what you're then going to do is you're going to take that off, okay? You're going to exchange it for something you pick randomly out of the stack. And now you've got a new spot to buy things, weapons for $4. Now, there's different kinds of ways you can engage in combat, okay? You can do kind of what we call passive combat. That would be if you were to pass through, for example, if you wanted to pass by this Raider truck, which they all fit in the middle section there. If you want to pass by them, you stop, but then you have to roll this, I call it the passive act die, the passive combat die, and you've got to roll that to see whether or not you take a hit. And that's just you saying, I'm evading them, don't want to deal with them, but we're exchanging gunfire or whatever. Or you can go active combat. Now, if you look, there's food and water in the back of this Raider truck. Okay. Now, there could be a point where you're just trying to actually pillage this Raider truck and try to get sometimes an easy victory over them to actually pillage what they have and put it into any available areas that you've got in your actual player board. Okay. So if you're able to destroy them, you take those and then you put them in. But for now, I'll show you how combat actually works. First thing you're going to do is you're going to pull from this Raider truck deck, and then you're going to go, okay, I got to fight this guy. He's got a life point meter of 4, meaning you have to roll the dice and get 4 hits on this guy to defeat him. You start off with 2 dice and then add any modifiers. So, for example, if you have another gunner, you could add a 3rd die if you wanted to, or however many gunners you've got. You roll them. You come up with what you've got. Hey, we killed him. So you take his stuff, put it into your truck, and then, again, you're going to refill with those 2 items on the Raider truck out there. So right now he needs water and weapons, okay? And you have defeated him, and now he's got more stuff to carry for the next time. And this card gets discarded to the bottom of the pile, and you don't take any hits. Now, if you do not defeat him, you take 1 hit from him, okay? The other type of combat that you can engage in is going into Raider Enclaves. There's 4 around the board, and right now we're going to go into the Bonesaw Enclave. We're going to stop there, okay? And now we're picking a fight with them. Now, we could have passed through if we wanted to, and we'd still do the same thing. It would be an evade die, you know, if you wanted to pass through. But in this case, we want to attack this Raider Enclave and actually go in there and go, oh, hey, look, it's another one. So we're actually flipping this guy over, and this is what we get if we beat this guy, and the attacking works the exact same way, okay? Now, how do these Raider trucks move around? Well, basically, whoever is the player who's moving, they have to stop on one of these points with these symbols on them, okay? Like, for example, the 99s or 99, the green or the blue symbol here. And if you look on the side of the trucks, they're going to have different symbols. Each truck's going to have a different symbol. For example, this is the red symbol truck, okay? And so what you're going to do is, let's say we're driving and we're like, hey, we're going to stop on a red symbol, okay? You can move this red truck over here to that adjacent tile, and that's considered a Raider ambush if there's another player in that area. See, there's another player over there, and we're ambushing them with the Raider, and now they enter into combat, and combat's the same, but this time you don't get anything from the truck if you defeat it. You just get out of there unscathed if you're able to defeat it, okay? Now, the other way that you can do this is, let's say there's another Raider truck right here, and look, hey, there's another player over here. You can actually, this is considered adjacent in the rules of the game, you can actually jump that over there, jump over that other Raider truck, because that one was blocking the most adjacent one. So this one is getting over here, and you're doing an ambush on this side to that other player. There's other rules I didn't actually get into in the game. Again, they're all laid out in the rule book. Like, for example, the event deck, which does different things, maybe give you different blessings every round and things like that. But anyway, like I said, in general, you get the gist. You're able to kind of get rolling now. First person to complete all three priority first contracts is the winner. Let's get back to our final thoughts, because there's going to be many.
Content the bottom line.
I'm in love.
I mean, you really
Post-apocalyptic love.
You really have a dark mind if you're in love with a game for that theme only. You just love that kind of stuff. You like to have like nuclear waste and people dying and mutating.
So used to this world, I like post-apocalyptic because it gives you a different way of looking at everything.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
it's fun.
You realize how far humanity can go in the wrong direction if you don't stay on one path.
Absolutely. So what do you think, in general, what did you think of like production quality? And before you say that, love this game too. Let me just make that clear. I went into it. Let me give you this too. I went into this game not certain how I was going to feel about it. The post-apocalyptic theme was drawing me in, right? That's a theme that I really tend to like. I'm not like in love with it, but I really like it a lot. I really like Mad Max, the originals with Mel Gibson. When I got a copy of this game, we played it. It blew my ever-loving mind about how much I actually was enjoying it.
When I first saw it, I was like, this looks interesting. I like the post-apocalyptic, but it's just the board didn't really grasp me. It didn't really draw me in. I'm like, it just kind of looks like a jumbled mess when I first saw it. Mm-hmm. But after I got to playing it, it all made sense, and it just clicked.
Wow, you're actually the opposite for me. When I first saw the board, I was going, this looks like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. It actually seemed to fit the theme for me better.
It looked like a post-apocalyptic, but the board didn't kind of really make sense. But once we actually played it, it made sense.
Yeah.
Some quality across the board was just, absolutely phenomenal. I love the little gaming trays here. Everything. This is an OCD person's dream.
He is hugely OCD.
I love to organize it.
Watch any of our videos and how much he OCDs on things, nitpicks.
You have little stacks for the cards.
Yes.
That's
the gaming trays.
Gaming trays. That is just freaking phenomenal. I love the production of all this. The boards are awesome. They're good, thick cardboard, not flimsy like some others we won't mention.
He's talking.
You have a little indentions here for like your trailers.
Yeah, for trailers and things like that.
If they didn't put that there, it's a minor little thing, but it makes a little bit of difference.
Yeah, it's more to the immersion, is what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the production quality was amazing as well. On that point alone, the dice were decent. Nothing like crazy great, but they were good. They were indented. Enjoyed these. And the models, the miniatures, the rigs, that brought me more into the theme.
Brought you into it. And this is probably one of the few games that I actually would want to get down and actually paint.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely wanting to paint these.
The others, I'm just like, but these, I really would like to get some paint out and paint these things.
Absolutely. So, what did you think of the cards in general?
The cards.
Like the priority contracts, did you like the idea of all that?
I like the idea of that. The give you certain tasks that you have to complete. I really like that. It gives you some structure in the game. Some of the things, some of the fonts on those kind of got
the Vision
me.
Quest,
yeah, the Vision Quest one. Yeah, that one right there. I felt like I don't need reading glasses, but I feel like I need reading glasses for that.
It was very italicized, and the font was very small. The artwork, if you couldn't tell by the box, is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal.
It draws you in.
It really does. It makes you think Mad Max. The first thing, I mean, when I first saw this box, I was intrigued. I didn't care what kind of game it was. I wanted to know what this was, right? As you go through the cards, the artwork is still phenomenal. It's still bringing you deeper into that theme. Now, this is going to be a double-edged sword, what we're about to mention. I felt, and I think you agree with this, I felt that some of the cards, there's only a couple really in the game that are a real issue. They were a bit over the top with some of the artwork in terms of, I guess, grotesqueness, and
it's just eyesore. It's really not something that I would enjoy looking at, having down there. I mean, some of the cards are kind of like that in general. They're just really more not my style.
Now, if you're talking about when it comes to the theme, it fits. I'm not going to sit here.
It goes with the theme.
This is more of a personal preference thing. When it comes to mechanics, I have to say that I really, really like the idea. Like, okay, for example, on the dashboard, you're sitting here and you feel like you're actually driving a rig to a certain extent, right?
Well,
I mean, you're suspending reality.
Because you got the momentum that you go.
I love that. I love
start
that.
out 3, then you move to 4 for your next movement, and then 5 for your next. I mean, it really kind of
It's like you're shifting gears.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like you're just moving faster through the waste.
Trying to keep up. Trying to keep these other raiders from getting a hold of you.
Yes.
I mean, the whole mechanics, everything really helped draw you in.
It really does.
It does.
And I like the idea also that with the momentum tracker, the movement tracker, that no matter what you're on, you can actually do a 2-in-1 kind of action for your turn, because normally you're getting one action per turn, but if you want, you can also move that over to purchase or deliver or doing outpost actions, right? Which I think was really cool, because it also works thematically, because it's slowing down your rig, whatever you're driving, it's slowing it down to a stop, and you're doing that same action. It's like, okay, I've stopped, time to deliver. You know what I mean? Instead of I've stopped, gotta wait another round to deliver. I like that, because that speeds the game up a little bit more, and this is going to be a long game in general. You know, this game is not one that you just sit down and you play and it's a quick, fast, easy. No, this is slightly more complicated. It's going to take longer, but it's still fun. That's the key, right? What did you think about the Raider part, actually?
The Raider is a good way. I mean, when you don't have any money, it's a good way to find one of these guys, raid them, pillage them, take their goods. It worked out good for me a couple times because he attacked me and ran.
That's right. Oh, we're gonna get to that.
But yeah, I mean,
different variant we played.
The Raiders are great because I mean, you're gonna change out these little cubes here for water, ammo, food. You're gonna change those out every time you raid them. You change them out with what's on the card. You replenish it, and then I mean, you could also raid your fellow players.
Yes, you can. I had fun with that. We're gonna talk about that. We played the normally in this game there's not combat between players. It's funny. It's almost like it's an indirect combat, actually, because the one thing I did like, this game can be kind of, you don't think of it going in, but it can be kind of cutthroat, because certain spots on the map, they have different raider symbols, and when you stop there,
you move the raider and you can kind of combat your associates or your other people that you're playing with.
You can ambush other people in the game, and that can be so satisfying, because especially if they screwed you over somehow earlier.
You can also help block them if you think they're going to go in one direction, and you purposely move to land on one of those icons to move that particular raider.
Absolutely.
And then like, oh, it's going to move that direction.
Oh man!
Now you got to do a combat.
Now you got to do it. But I also like the idea, though, that if you decide to go out and go in the direction of a raider that has not moved, and you have to get through that area, I like the fact that you have to roll the evade die, and you might take a damage, but really it's a 2 out of what, 6 2 out of 6 chance that you're going to take a damage. And that's pretty darn good odds considering you're just trying to evade that guy. And so, yeah, now when it comes to pillaging the Raider Enclaves as well, it works the exact same way. There might be some turns you're like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I'll go kill that guy and take his stuff. That's awesome because, again, that works into the theme, I feel.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel with the player versus player variant actually works more for the theme of the post-apocalyptic wasteland. Because
get what you're going to get, baby.
It's
doesn't matter who you hurt. It's kind of what it feels like.
All against all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really what it comes down to in a post-apocalyptic. Nobody's going to help you. It's kill or be killed.
Oh, yeah. And I like that because when we started it out, we said we got to play one game where we do that variant. And yes, it does make the game longer. Understand that this game is not one of brevity, okay? But it is cool that I can now go, okay, he's got something I want. I'm going to take a chance with that, dude.
Mod Shop, I really like. I mean, every game I start heavily adding machine guns to it, which just adds +1 to whatever you roll. Then I go about adding the gunners on there, which give you extra die.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I mean, I really modded up the first time I played this and really...
Your rig usually can end up being a beast by the end of it.
I was a beast.
You were a tank, yeah. But see, that's the thing, though, about the modding, though. That's the fun part of the game there.
You can decide whether or not you're going to heavily arm up or you're going to do a lot of goods.
Yeah.
Which I like. You can't do much armor. You can only do 1 armor. Or you can do rad shield. So, but other than that, you can decide, am I going to go heavy guns or I'm going to go heavy transport?
And the cool thing is you can also buy trailers at the depot to help with that.
Both.
Yeah.
You know, probably in some ways you may want to start out doing heavy transportation because you're going to get more money that way.
Right. Because
every time you stop at a depot, if you have 4 waters there, I mean, you cash that in, and if the market value is 11, I mean, you got a lot of money. You got $4.
I liked also the fluctuating market. The fluctuating market was fun.
Yeah, that's really fun. Is the more water that's out there for sale
or demand,
the higher it goes up, and the less it's not demand, the lower it goes. Every time you sell it, it goes down. Yeah.
Now there is one thing that I was noticing in this game when it comes to modding up and becoming a tank. Riley. One of the guys that was in one of the games we were playing, he turned himself basically into a tank and just decided to go and pillage and destroy enclaves and this and the other. This guy, he got so modded up, it was almost like that nothing was really a challenge for him.
Oh, I won.
Right, I mean, because he had so much when it comes to weaponry and everything else. But there was, Grand Lord Emperor Torque. That dude was a beast. That dude was awesome because that was one of the main challenges. If you get really modded up, he's still a challenge, and that's awesome. But the one thing was, I thought at first, I personally thought it was an imbalance in the game, okay? Because it looks like it. Okay, this guy's not a challenge. But quite frankly, if you are spending all that time modding your vehicle up into a weapons house, you are probably missing out on certain things you need to do with accomplishing those contracts.
But you also kind of have to play it at your own pace, figure out how you want to go. I mean, it really didn't hurt me because I pretty much did the same thing as Riley did. I was modding up for heavy combat.
Yeah.
I was going more the +1 die. He was going more get as many die as I possibly can get.
But again, I think that if the priority contracts and certain aspects of the way the game was designed weren't in place, I really would think that would be a very big imbalance because there's really not much of a challenge at that point. Now, now granted, I think with the PvP rules, the variant, yes, again, it does make the game longer, but I think that adds in a tiny bit more challenge to the game, and I think that's a way I would like to play almost every time.
Yeah, I don't think I could go back to playing without PvP.
I could do it. It's just, I think it's more fun. It's more interaction between
more interaction because other than that, you really don't have much interaction between everybody else.
And I like the fact that combat was very simple. You roll the dice and you compare results. One time, typically. Yeah. Right? And I like that because that makes it simple. It doesn't convolute it. But anyway, overall, I absolutely love this game. Again, this game actually surprised me to a certain extent, not because of the theme, but because of the pick up and deliver aspect. I wasn't certain how I was going to like that in this type of game with this theme.
But it makes sense with this theme.
Yeah, because there are demands, but I'm talking about purely picking up and delivering was not something I was really excited about.
Yeah.
But when you add in the combat, when you add in, for us personally, the variant of player versus player, attacking each other, and all the extras that you get in there, and the way that the game tends to balance out. At first, I also thought this game was going to end up not being as exciting as it was.
Yeah.
Because I was going, well, what? I mean, besides pick up and deliver and some combat, what else is there? And then you have the contracts you can pick up from different factions. You have the vision quest, and the fact also that in the back of the rule book there's campaign. There's a campaign and I think there's different campaigns. I haven't looked through all of them, but I know there are campaigns that you can go through in the back. They really set this thing up to be something special. Now, the rule book in the con that I'm finding about the rule book in this game is that it's decent. It does answer some of my questions well, but I felt like, again, that there needed to be a fact page. I felt like some things were a little bit scattered in some places. Yes, there's a decent index in the back. It just wasn't as cohesive as I would have liked, but it worked. It handled most of what I wanted. Also, I have heard some of the complaints about the game running a little too long. For us personally, with what we've played of it so far, we have absolutely not even cared about that.
The first game we played it, I didn't look at my watch.
3 hours.
I didn't care about my watch.
Didn't care.
And it did not bother me. I wanted to keep going and
Same
going
here.
and going. And
Same here.
Frankly, I could go all night with it.
Yeah. It's that for us, again, for somebody else that doesn't have the kind of tastes, you might not like that, just being honest with you. You may not like it. But for us, we weren't even caring about the time because everybody at the table was shouting at each other, having fun, saying, oh, you took that. I was about to pick that up. Or, da-da-da-da. And the Raider truck, you hit me with a Raider truck ambush. It was that kind of fun for us, right? But again, it's not necessarily for everybody. Where would you say you're sitting at a rating right now?
I'll put it at a 9.
Wow.
I love the theme. The gameplay, I absolutely love it. Like I said a minute ago, it's just, I didn't look at a watch. When we were playing, I did not care what time it was. I did not care what was going on in the rest of the world.
I've heard some house rules on BGG, Board Game Geek, that actually streamline it a little bit. But again, we might try it. But as it is, I've enjoyed it tremendously.
Play a little house rules, a little free parking out there.
Did you just make a Monopoly reference?
Yes, I did.
How'd that feel? Yeah, that's right. Don't ever say Monopoly about this game, man. There ain't no daggum rolling move in this game, right? But anyway, you're sitting at a 9?
I'm sitting at a 9.
Pretty solid? Okay. At about an 8.5 currently for me. As a matter of fact, when I first played this game, it was an 8. This has only risen with play. Okay, I could see this going up to a 9. I could see this going up further than that. That's how much fun I had with it.
We weren't looking at watches. We weren't concerned about time, and you're only up to an 8.
Yeah, I wanted to play it a few more times to see if it was a fluke or not, about how much I enjoyed this game, and I can honestly say my enjoyment level's going up.
I thought I knew him.
Oh, shut up, man. Please. Are you kidding me? So anyway, yeah, so this game is going up on my top 4 shelf. The top 4 is just, what we're enjoying a whole lot right now. Doesn't necessarily miss my top 4 of all time right now, but except for
Blood Rage!
I'll let you do the honors since you're you're gonna make it sit behind it. Have you played Wasteland Express Delivery Service? Let me know down in the comments. Do you like pick up and deliver games? Are you into the post-apocalyptic theme? But go check it out. And anyway, thank you again. You have a blessed day.
Game away.